on the Fan. Tatum Bell on the VIP line, talking Broncos football with us. Tatum, good evening, man. Always good to talk to you. What's up, man? How's it going tonight?
Good evening, fellas. I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Doing real good, and we're talking Broncos football, and everyone wants to know, how does Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay work together? You and Mike Anderson, back in the day, had a hell of a running back tandem. Do you think the Broncos can use Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay like the Broncos used you and Mike Anderson in the same backfield?
Absolutely. I've always followed Philip and enjoyed Philip's game, and I know what he brings to the table. And the only reason I know about Melvin, because, he played in our conference, and then I had him in my fantasy last year, so I kind of, even though he missed out on the 2 games, but he still was pretty good, for when he came back. That's the only reason I kind of keep up with him, but I know what Philip going to bring to the table, and adding Melvin is just going to make Philip competitive level go up and play at a higher level. Because I thought, from his interview, he sounded like he was pretty pissed off about it, but, it's a business thing, so, he couldn't trip on it too much, but I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for both of them because I think, with the improvements to the line, it's going to be a good season.
So, Tatum, when you hear individuals talk about, the 2 years that Philip had over 1,000 yards and people kind of, squawk at it like, it was 1,000 yards. Every back in the NFL can get 1,000 yards these days. What do you think about those individuals kind of throwing shade in Philip's direction?
Man, I don't think anybody can just get 1,000 yards. I think that's kind of still pretty much every running back standard to get 1,000 yards. But it's a grind, and I think those people that throwing the shade, man, hey, let's go see if you can go 2 or 3 days through a training camp, 2 days full of practice, and that'll answer all the questions, But it's definitely a grind. And Philip being a smaller guy, that's very impressive and undrafted. It's just impressive. His whole style. I already knew how he ran and the anger that he runs with and being a smaller guy. So it really kind of plays to his benefit.
He's Tatum Bell, former Broncos running back, joining us here on Nick and Cecil. And Tatum, you and Mike Anderson, how do you, as a player, you want the rock, you want the ball. How do you set aside ego just for the team, right? Because you guys split that time, split the workload, almost had 1,000 yards each that one season. How is it to get
Right.
into a rhythm? Does it disrupt your rhythm at all as a runner? Do you guys talk about it? Did you talk about sharing the workload? How does that dynamic work behind the scenes?
Well, the pretty much your position coach or the coordinators pretty much handle the rotation. For me, and, Kubiak and Bobby Turner, they used to always tell us whoever, Mike was the starter. So, if, when he goes down, of course I went in. Or, my first year was Reuben. He went down.
Right.
Of course I went in. But it was always whoever got the hot hand. If you get the hot hand, if you get it early, that was my thought process. As soon as them guys get tired, I see them get tired, I come in. Man, if I can just hit a couple of 4 or 5 yards, and then boom, I'm going to get the big one. That was always my thought process running the ball and attacking the games. And when I got in, I was like, okay, I always have to get the home run. I just got to keep the chains moving, keep us in manageable third downs. That was always my goal. And if you got that kind of, I feel like that's how Philip has been approaching. He keeping the chain moving. They don't really throw it to him too much, but he's durable. He's always moving the crowd. The pile. And that's what you want to see as your running backs. Keep the pile moving and moving the chains. And whatever one gets hot, I think it'll be a good one. Because I think either one of them can carry the load.
Now, coming into the NFL from the collegiate level is always tough for any rookie of any position. Now, when you were a rookie, did you have any kind of setbacks that you look back on and go like, man, that was a tough day for me?
Man, I got a couple stories. First of all,
Of course, Nick has to ask about this.
Let's talk about how dirty Nick was in practice.
Wow.
Well, I'm not gonna say dirty. Let's not just say that. Okay, he was okay. It's levels to practice. It's 3/4 speed. It's full speed, and then you got the guys out there that think it's game day. So 3/4 speed. Most guys just stud and let you go. Full speed, some guys like Al and Lynch, when they hit you, you might go down to the ground. And then you got the game speed guys like Nick and, a couple other guys. They want to tackle you, knowing we're not supposed to be tackling. He want to go down to the ground. The running back to the line, bring the ball back. Nick wants to poke the ball out. He's one of those guys. And not to mention, I held out my rookie year, and so the day I came back to practice, we had a scrimmage. So I got thrown into the fire in the scrimmage. Of course, I was going against the twos. I was running with the twos and the threes. So I was always going against the one defense. I never got any shine in practice ever. And so Nick, so that was the first practice of two-a-day. So the second practice of two-a-day, here come Nick. Nick, and it was a special teams practice. He broke my finger. The very first rep I take, he broke my finger. I just run off the field hollering and screaming in pain. So I missed pretty much the whole preseason game, all the preseason to the last preseason game because of Nick Ferguson. And then throughout the season, Nick full in 7-on-7. He's full speed on blitzing. We blitzing in 7-on-7, and here come Nick coming off the edge, full speed. Nick trying to get a sack, wrap up the quarterback. He was one of those players, man. But I loved him. He was always a baller, and yeah, that's pretty much my little story about Nick.
Wow,
that's a good story. That's a really good story.
Come on, man. I didn't expect.
My bad, Nick. I had to tell him about how you're full chip. That's all. Some guys know how to tone it down. Nick always playing like his job was on the line. And, a lot of guys like that, but Nick he showed it. He played like that, and that's all you can ask of somebody. Just play to the whistle, and he really played to the whistle.
Wow,
okay.
man. See,
that sounds about right.
What do you mean it sounds about right, Cecil?
Sounds about right. I've heard stories.
See?
I saw the face paint, man. Nobody paints their face like a skeleton and then goes out there and plays like a pansy. Come on, that doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
Oh,
Paint his
man.
face like that on game day. Tatum Bell, our guest here on Nick and Cecil. We're having fun talking Broncos football with you. What do we do, or what should fans think about Royce Freeman, Tatum? And I think he's a talented back. He's a 230-pound man that can move, and he's a really good receiver out of the backfield. I think he lost confidence. This is just me guessing. I think he lost confidence because Phillip has been so good, and Royce was supposed to be the guy. Now Gordon's here. Now Royce is 3. How's a young man supposed to keep his chin up? What can we, expect from Royce Freeman?
Man, you always going to have competition. All you can do is just keep grinding. Those guys going to bring out a better Royce. Those guys going to make him bring his A game. And last year, was it just me or were all the run plays like for Phillip? Was he designed to run inside all the time and Royce outside all the time, or was it just me?
They had that backwards. They had it back, and not like Phil couldn't run inside, but they had it backwards. They kept sending Royce outside
all the time. Like, that's not setting the tone with Royce running outside. Setting the tone with him is pounding, moving the chains up and getting us an ugly 4 yards, as Bobby Turner used to call it. Give me an ugly 4. That's all you looking for from Royce. And if he pops it, okay. But Phillip, you want him coming there. He mixes it up. But I don't know. That was last year, so, I'll leave it alone. But I think he just got to keep his head up. It's always going to be competition. Guys are always getting hurt, So you never know when your number's going to get called. And if you get in the game, hey, you might get in and break 2 or 3 of them. And now the coach is like, hey, we got to give Royce some more carries. So you never know how it goes. That's how Mike Bell hit the scene. Mike Bell was running all over the 3s. And then he started running with the 2s and started running all over the defense. Then he got on with the 1s, and oh man, it was just magic. So it can happen. He just got to just stay focused, and it's competition at every position. It's every year they bringing in guys to take your job. So you can't look at it like, oh, they brought in Melvin to let me go. No, you got to go out there and take Melvin's spot. You got to prove them. I'm the guy, not Melvin. That'll be my thought process.
So I always talked about the standard on this program. And when I first came into Denver Broncos organization, that standard was well known. We didn't really have to talk about it, but it was definitely known. I've seen the standard somewhat take a slide over the past couple of years, but from a young guy coming into the Broncos organization, what was your idea of what the standard was that was established by Coach Shanahan and Pat Bowlen?
Man, when I got drafted, I was like, man, I'm going to the Broncos. I knew about Portis, and I knew I knew the success he had. So I was like, man, I'm walking into this. I know they have a good line, and I know just coming in I'm just gonna learn so much and just up my game. So that's what I was looking forward to. But the standard was at a high level. I came in, we went to the playoffs, lost against Peyton Manning. Then the second year we went 13-3, and so I came in to a winning already organization, used to going to championships, used to being in the playoffs. So that's what I walked into, and it was just that you had veterans, like you said. We never even talked about it, but when you did have a bad practice, you have OGs like Rod or Lynch or Al or who were the other older guys, Tick. What was Tick's name?
Keith Burns.
And then those guys, yeah, Keith Burns. I couldn't think of it. Keith Burns. You had those guys. So it was an older roster, and that's what Shanahan pretty much believed in, an older roster, and bring the young guys up along the way and show them the way that way, instead of having the young guys kind of like at the end of his career. He had Marshall and Cutler. He had them young guys kind of running the team, and it should have been the older guys running the team. Because they pretty much set the tone for the and trickles on down through the locker room, through practice. Because how I practiced when I first got there, I was like, okay, I can run all day. But no, I couldn't run all day. Seeing how Rod Smith would go out there and run like every route, all routes with the ones, and then come in with the twos and get a couple more just to work on the route, and then hop in there with the threes just to show the threes that he can do. I was like, man, now out of 30 plays, Rod done ran 17, 18 plays. I'm like, what? And I'm up here struggling. I'm up here struggling on my little 10. You know what I mean? My little 10. And Rod is what? I'm a rookie, and Rod that just baffled me and showed me instantly, okay, I'm not practicing like I need to practice. So when you got that, and when guys coming at you like that was. And another thing I talked about my rookie year, when y'all talking about another story. The worst practice I ever had was my rookie year. I had 2 fumbles and an interception, pretty much, or I guess it was a fumble or strip. So we was a 9-on-7, and every year Shanahan wanted all the running backs to get through the plays and get 5 or 6 plays in a row, every one. So we had to get up, get tackled, run the 30, 40 yards, and come right back and get right back in the huddle. Man, that was the hardest part of training camp. And plus, not to mention, it was 2 days back then. And, man, I never get that day came. It was my turn up. And, of course, I'm going with the ones. The very first play, we ran a counter play. I'd never forget it. We ran a counter play. And I go to take my counter step. I already see Al Wilson. He done already beat the guards and the tackle pulling. He done already beat him through the A-gap. All I see was Al Wilson head flying over my helmet, because I'm on the ground. The ball's on the ground. I don't know where the ball is. So I was scared to death. I can't even lie. I was scared to death. Woo! And then the very next play, so I get the ball. You know how they be screaming at you. Get the ball. So I get the ball, go run down, do my 40. I come back, my second play. The very next play, I get like an 18 sweep. Like an 18 stretch. I cut it back. I made a pretty cutback, got like 3-4 yards. It was nice. Then the very next play, there was the third play. The opposite play, like a 19 or inside 15. I cut it back. Here come Lynch. He come ear hold me. Man, and I fumbled the ball again. The ball go flying around, so I got to go get the ball, run my 40 yards, come back. Then I finished that drill. So I had a rough period. All I hear was Bobby Turner just screaming at me, and we in front of the fans because it's training camp. And it was, right after 9-on-7, you go to 7-on-7. So we running down to the drill, and I hear Shanahan tell Plummer, I'm running right by him. He say, throw the plate in the first play. I hear him say it too. I'm like, dang. So as I go over there to grab me some water, I'm like, dang, I'm already like, I done had a bad period. They trying to talk me up. Man, I hear him tell me, BT, I don't never start out. BT say, Tatum, get in. I'm like, God dang it. Woo, so I get in. He throw me a swing route. I bobble the swing route. Champ picks off the swing route, takes it out my hand, and takes it back towards the end zone. He doing the Dion. All the fans was cheering. Lord, that was like the worst ever practice in my life. Never again I ever had a practice like that. But that was like, man, I was like, okay, this is the big boys. That was one of them practices. Like, okay, you out here with grown men, So you're not the big dog at OSU, the campus no more. This is grown football right here. So
Yes,
that let me
sir.
know that day, Man, it's big boy time when especially back then where our defense they were like they were. Woo, that was nice. But yeah, the standard has always been high. I'm sorry I got off subject, but yeah, the standard has always been high, and I think it's starting to kind of get back since the last Super Bowl. We had them down years, but now it's starting to come back with Fangio around, and we got some momentum rolling. So I'm excited.